compliance has become a larger and larger aspect of what we do on a day-to-day basis in the banking industry. We can't let down our vigilance with respect to maintaining our compliance standards, and continuity helps us do that by virtue of giving us a system and a process that banks in the community bank realm generally don't have the resources to put in place themselves.
It is helping us, as a small community bank. A lot of these large banks have huge compliance departments. Obviously, we don't have that luxury. We're just, a smaller bank.
And we did have the OCC come in for an interim exam last August, and we had some issues with our vendor management.
We were introduced to continuity during that time frame, and so the first program that we implemented was the vendor management program.
We ended up implementing it, and then we had our safety and soundness exam just this past April 2015, and they were satisfied with everything. We also had the compliance exam and BSA exam, and I almost felt like the OCC was not here, which is pretty crazy.
And so it was a fairly quick implementation that we undertook to get that up and running, rather than continuing to try and develop something on our own. Certainly, from a phased implementation standpoint, it worked very well. You don't have to try and roll the whole program out all at once at one time.
We did it in phases, so they were really good about working with us and say, okay, what do you want to achieve? Here's all the different modules.
So the phasing and the modular aspect was very appealing to us from the standpoint of getting benefit out of the system as quickly as possible.
We used ERM 365 initially. The problem with ERM 365 is it's not a full compliance management system. What you have to do is you have to buy separate models to make it a compliance management system. Where continuity has an all-inclusive, it's all combined. When they make those enhancements, you don't have to buy a separate model, it's just part of the subscription.
I spent literally hundreds of hours reading regulations and just love the fact that continuity will read those for us and then tell us as a community bank what would apply to us and what we can just ignore. So we may still have to read some of those regulations, obviously, but they at least give us a heads up at what's going to apply to us versus what's not.
We've benefited from what continuity provides with respect to the breadth of its system, its ability to integrate with our efforts, and benefit us from an overall compliance management standpoint.
With Sheshnoff, the real issue I had with them is they would send out quarterly updates through a CD. However, I would receive them about a month or two into the next quarter. So, you wouldn't rely on Sheshnoff to provide you that information in a timely manner. Where with continuity control, you set up everyone in a role and per a group, and so it'll automatically assign out those reg advisories to those responsible people. Right now we have an employee that has some ACH updates that she's getting notification a year in advance. So that is huge, especially when there's huge changes within the regulation. I would not like to revert back to paper tracking and, again, just not having 100% confidence that I'm catching everything that comes through, because there's just so much.
It provided us a good format for being able to generate the kind of information that the examiners are looking for whenever they come in to do a compliance exam, and shows that we've integrated a program that does provide us with comprehensive and consistent follow-up and tracking of all of our compliance efforts.
Oh, I have employees all the time asking me to create controls and to-dos for them, because you might have that one to-do that you have to do once a year or once a quarter that you don't remember. And with the system, it just sets everything at ease, that it's in there, that it's set to the right responsibilities, and there's not this extra paper follow-up or person-to-person follow-up. Obviously, you still want to keep that interaction with employees, but it's something you can pull a report on. You don't have to keep following up with that individual. To me, it was very easy. If you can attach something to an email, you can work in continuity. It is that easy. You hit an upload button, select from your T drive, and it's there.